one thing I was curious about, so I don't have a lot in there now, and I don't know if this would be like a feature request kind of thing. Um, I really don't have that many stacks yet, but I was imagining as I do this, there's probably gonna be a ton of them. And I was curious if there's the ability down the road to maybe like name the project for each one, because I can see the keyword and I can see the target link. So right now that's good enough, but over time, I would imagine that I'll need more than that just to be able to get through them. I know there's the search feature, which is going to help a lot, but I wasn't sure if you had considered maybe like project folders or just names next to like where it says top keyword.
On the dashboard.
Yeah, like under the Google Stacks part, under the planner dashboard, maybe
Oh,
like
the
having
planner.
folders.
Yeah, let me pull up the dashboard. So we have a, oops, like here, right next to top keyword or somewhere here. You
Yeah,
mean?
or maybe it's even just like a folder. You know how, I know this is different, but you know how you have Google Cloud and then you have like buckets and folders?
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, that would have nothing to do with Google, but just kind of having like folders where you could have,
Yes.
yeah, different projects essentially for different, even just silos or just different
Yep.
clients and stuff like that.
Yes, that is not the first time that I've had someone come up with that recommendation. When you get to a level where you're mass building bunches of stacks and you want to keep things organized, yes. We're analyzing the best, and we thought about it already. One of the options that we are considering is to like have a tag that you can configure for, like have a column and then a tag with a keyword, and then you can add those tags into that tag, which you could see it as a project, for example, as a grouping of Google Stacks in a particular tag, which then you can filter and on the planner table. So I think that might be the way we are going to deal with this scenario.
That makes sense. Yeah, tag it,
Yeah,
and then
I
that way you
understand.
have the ability to filter. I like that.
Yeah, an additional column here, and the ability to, like, from the builder here on the builder, select or and create tags, and then you can tag the project. You can tag the Google Stack to a particular project.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds easier than folders too. I like that. That's perfect.
yeah, I
Cool.
understand.
Um, One question, it's gonna sound dumb. I was curious, what does the keyword builder do? I was having some trouble figuring that out, as dumb as that
The
sounds.
keyword builder here. Yeah. Um, so for to explain why the keyword builder exists, I'm gonna explain a few things before.
Sure.
So when we the first thing we do when we want to build a Google Stacks is use the Stacks builder, right?
Hmm.
And so Staxio and everything you see, everything that Staxio does runs from Google's scripting technology. Now, the scripts on Google, they have limitations, and one of those limitations is the time that the script can be running. And excuse me, the time that a script can be running is between 5 to 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So when we're building a Google Stack, um, and that's why we had to split some of the features, some of the builders into different sections in Staxio, is because of this limitation, this 5 to 6 minute limitation. So when we're building a Google Stack here with the Stacks builder, we have a limit, and this limit is 5 to 6 minutes. So we had to, limit the things that Staxio creates when we're building a Google Stack. And one of those things are the number of keywords. And that is why we have a maximum of 5 here.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, because if we go over this limit, if we add more keywords, means the Stacks builder will need to build additional Google properties, and that's going to go over the 5 to 6 minute limit. And this is why we have the keyword builder. The keyword builder will add additional keywords to your Google Stack.
Oh, got it. So after you already made the stack, you want
Excuse me.
more, you pop
Makes
in
sense.
those. I get it.
This is the main reason the keyword builder exists. There
Totally get it.
is that one of the other reasons people use a keyword builder is to update your Google Stack with additional properties and to give some activity to your Google Stack. So instead of you just doing a one-off build of the Google Stack, you want to add activity to it. Google, the search engines, and Google in particular like activity on properties.
Yeah.
So using the keyword builder on an existing Google Stack, after say 2 weeks, you want to add additional links to your Google Stack, you can use the keyword builder, select one Google Stack, and then add more links and more properties to it, which will then trigger activity on the stack, and Google will come crawl and all that stuff.
That totally makes sense. I really like that. I could put a calendar item in, so like once a month, just going in there and making a one extra keyword or something and having a list ready to go.
We actually have that on the on our SOP, standard operating procedure file document we have on the. I don't know if you noticed that yet,
I don't
but
think
there
so. I
is a
looked at it,
weekly.
but yeah.
Have you? Sorry, I have this weird cough now. But there, have you noticed that on our training platform?
You know what's wild? I went through every single thing in there, and I think the problem is I went through everything in like 3 days, and it all became hazy because it was so much information. I do
It's
remember
at
looking at that, the SOP. Is that the one that was in the Google sheet, or is that the one that
one
was
second.
like a regular document?
Let me try and see if I can log into our training platform and show you. Just give me a second while I try to log in here. I think I got it. All right, let me pull up the window here. So, all right, can you see my screen? I'm on the
Yes.
tutorials. So if you come here on the SOP, and you can download it here.
Oh yeah, I made a copy of that. Yep.
So let's see. So we have our building materials, and you can see here we have week 1,
Oh,
week 2,
that makes sense.
week
I didn't
3.
understand what that meant.
Yeah, that
Oh,
is
nice.
meant to add additional keywords. See, keyword 1, and then more keywords here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay,
That's why
perfect.
this exists. That's why we created this little sections here where you can plan your. This is a week. We can be like bi-weekly or monthly, up to you, right? You
Yeah.
can make a copy of the SOP and then tweak it to your needs.
Yeah, for sure. I like that a lot. I just had a crazy idea that would definitely not be anything in your priority list for at least, I don't even know, a year. But can you imagine if you could put in the keyword somewhere and you would set a timer and then it would make a stack like once a month for the next like 12 months or something to keep it fresh? I know that, like I said, that's a very low priority, but the thought crossed my mind.
No, it's actually something that crossed our mind too, and it's something that we have been testing
Oh,
and working on, and see how if that is possible to do. So we know that for a fact that it's something that is that we can do
oh,
with
nice. I thought that would be a pain.
yeah. Well, there's so many things that can be automated once we get this engine, this automation engine working on Staxio. And it's something that we've been testing for a while, for a considerable amount of time. And we've been doing progress, like little progress, because it's something that we didn't know if it was possible or not. So, and every time we test, it's like it takes like a considerable amount of our development team to go through different scenarios and find out if it works, if it's possible, if it's not.
Yeah.
And we've been doing small steps, but really good. And we are at a stage where we can probably maybe in the next month or two be able to have the first feature of the automation engine available to Staxio. So from there we can keep adding features that can automate a bunch of things, and one of those can be adding additional keywords into your Google Stack. Yes.
You guys are moving so fast. That's incredible. Like there's just new stuff all the time. It's really cool. That's gotta
I
be
think
nice
we're
to
always
like
moving slow.
build it. What's that?
I think we're too slow.
That's
Yeah, I
probably
think
why you're doing things so quickly, is because you think you're going slow, so you're pushing, If you thought you were just good to go, you probably wouldn't go at the same speed, right?
yeah, I think you're right. I'm probably
You're
right.
not
But
content. I like it. That's how I work. That's great, man. I'm
actually,
impressed. I use a lot of tech, and this is like really cool, like how fast and how much things have been added in such a short time.
yeah, it's this is something I really I enjoy doing, and it's like a baby I've been working on for many years, because I built Staxio to automate a bunch of things that I for myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I had this idea, let's create a company and see if this works. No, I fixed my own problem,
Yeah.
and that's how Staxio was born. But even now, we've added some of the recommendations from your videos, where you mentioned about centering things and the width of the videos and the images and all that stuff. We've implemented those small little fixes, and we're about to release a version where they will be available. And and yeah, and among other things as well.
Nice.
So, and we're about to release that, and probably still this week.
That is so cool.
So appreciate your
like
feedback.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, happy to help if I can. Yeah, that's awesome. I had one question on the file converter. So I understand what file converter does, right? It takes the stack and makes it Microsoft and PDFs. I was curious, why is it separate from the stacks builder? Is that something that people build the stack and then they don't want the PDFs on their HTML site, and so you do the converter afterwards, or is there another reason for it?
Yeah, same reason I told you about for the keyword builder. It's the limitation, the time limitation for the running the script, because converting these files takes a considerable amount of time on the build. That's why it's separate.
Cool. That makes sense. So for order of operations, let's say that I want to make a stack. I would do the stack builder, then if I understand correctly, the file converter, and then would I make the HTML?
Well, I think we have this here on the SOP actually. Let me just confirm. So we have, all right, the SOP. Here we go. Access the planner, build a Google Stack, CTA, build additional keywords. See your keyword builder here.
Yeah.
And then your next step is convert your Google Stack files to Microsoft and PDF, create your HTML file. So you just follow, if you take the SOP, you just follow this and then check as you go. This is like the flow of how you should build your Google Stacks.
I need to look at that very carefully. Okay.
Yeah. We put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah.
People probably don't realize, but yeah, if you just use this, it's going to be straightforward.
Perfect.
Probably I should talk more about this. I don't think people, I don't think I got this enough into people's minds, into people's heads. That's how helpful this can be.
Yeah, I think my problem was I looked at it and I glanced at it. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to make my own. And then now that I'm seeing like, oh, it's already there. I don't know how I even missed that, which is weird. So yeah, I'm glad you're bringing that up. Thank you. Perfect. One other question I had was the silo builder. So if I understand correctly, we essentially would take stuff that's all similar keywords or a silo, and then that makes a stack of all of those. Is that right? Or what is the silo builder kind of set up to do?
It takes your, if you select like 2, 3, 4, whatever number of Google
Yeah.
Stacks from the planner, it will take those Google Stacks and then it will interlink all the stacks together. Okay, and then move them into one single folder. So if I select these 4 Google Stacks and then place a folder name here, a keyword usually, and then click on build silo, it will move these files into one folder. So it's like grouping all the stacks and connecting the stacks together.
Okay, I just tried that out right before our call. Okay, so then the idea is that now they're interlinking each other and they got moved into a folder, which I noticed that part. Okay, that's an easy way to do it. So if you want to interlink them together, you just select which ones and hit the button pretty much.
Yes.
Wow.
So it depends on how you have your, so there are like maybe, well, let's talk about 2 approaches for keywords, right? You have your top keyword, and then you have your supporting keywords, right? So you can either, so let's say dog training. I don't know why I give this example all the time. So let's say my top keyword is dog training, and then I have additional keywords like dog leash or dog food, whatever. And when I do this, when I add secondary keywords here, so Staxio is going to create additional documents for the secondary keywords, right? This is one way of doing it, right? One other way of doing it is I just build a Google stack for this keyword, and then I want to build additional stacks for each keyword, supporting keyword. Right, so I do this. I leave the secondary keywords, supporting keywords field empty, and then I build a Google stack for dog training. And then I come onto stacks builder, and then I do dog leash.
Yep.
Then I build another Google stack, and then I do another called dog food. Then I have 3 Google stacks, right?
Yeah.
So what I would do then, I would select those 3 Google stacks and then use the silo builder to interlink them.
Got it.
Right, so it's a different strategy where you build one Google stack, like you have one top Google stack, and then you have other Google stacks below as a tier below. And then you use a silo builder to interlink those Google stacks together. Hope this makes sense.
I was just typing. So the first one I totally get, where you essentially are building stacks, one keyword each, then you kind of combine them or interlink them with the silo builder. Sorry, what was the second part you mentioned? Or was that the same thing? It may have been the same.
So the first one I said was like,
yeah, that one I got.
Training.
Yep, I got that one.
Dog food, dog leash, for example, right? So these are my supporting keywords.
Yep.
And I do nothing else. This is a stack. It's done.
Yeah.
The second strategy or approach is I can do dog training as a stack, and then I do dog leash.
Oh yeah, I got that.
Second stack.
Sorry, whatever the last sentence was that you said, I didn't know if that was saying something new or different because I was typing up this part. So I get this strategy. Was there another one after that one you mentioned?
No, sorry. I only mentioned these 2.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Okay. Just so you don't have to repeat yourself. I feel bad. Sorry.
No worries. Well, this is being recorded. If you want to go back and take a look again, you can as well.
Perfect. Okay.
I always record the calls I have with the members, and well, I need to ask you also. Forgot at the beginning. I should do this at the beginning. I ask for permission for your permission to share this in the mastermind, if
Sure.
you can. If not, that's totally cool as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no
I
worries.
usually share this with people because
Yeah,
it's
that'd be
helpful. Like the questions that you're having and asking me, I'm sure other people will have to now
sure.
and in the future. So it's
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that's good. So I like the way that you could set that up where each keyword is one by itself, and then you could actually combine them together. So that way each stack is completely different, and then you don't have to try to do the keyword spinning and stuff. I'm not a big fan of spinning. I mean, I know it works great, but a lot of what I'm working on is tier one, and I don't want to do any kind of spinning. I want the
Yeah,
content to be nice. So
makes
that's
sense.
good.
Yes. It's
Okay.
also what I do. I treat my tier ones almost like my money sites. I want the
Yeah.
content to be really good.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. That makes it easier. I like that.
So, for example, if you have a top, sorry to interrupt you a
Yeah,
little
you
bit,
got it.
but just wanted to say something else. If you're working on, when you're building different stacks, like one stack per keyword instead of supporting keywords here, right? The strategy where you have multiple stacks and then you can silo them when you're
Yeah.
using that strategy. So it's like having tiered Google stacks, right? So if it's okay to use Spintax when you're doing that.
Like, are you saying tier two above, or when you're using the silo builder?
Like my Google stacks are well, sometimes, but they're usually never my tier ones.
Yeah.
My tier ones are either Google sites or Blogger sites.
Yeah. And you
So
write the
they're always
content
below,
yourself.
underneath one of those.
Gotcha. So are you not making a stack and then using that as your tier one? Are you kind of like writing your own stuff in the Google site?
You can, yeah. Sometimes I do. Yes, I sometimes build one Google stack, a stack linking to my money site. It's good because it adds link diversity.
Sure. If I understood you correctly, so let's say you have a tier one that you want to do. So you've got a Google site and it's going to point to the money site. On your Google site, do you actually put a stack? Like, do you embed the HTML, or do you kind of like custom make your Google site or whatever your tier one is?
I use the HTML created by the HTML builder
Yeah.
on my
Okay,
Google
cool.
site.
That's what I did too. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I was curious, how often do you like to use the comments module? Is that something you do on every stack, or is it just every once in a while, or do you have any certain way that you usually like to do it?
We need to, we're actually on working on this right now because we need to change it a little bit because it creates, I don't know if you've used it already, but it creates a link, one comment per link on your stack from the Google Sheet file, and that's a lot of comments. And it takes, when your stacks start to get bigger and
Mhm.
have lots more properties, as in more than like 50, 100, 200, when you start to get that amount of links and properties on your stacks, it becomes unusable because you'll just get a timeout because it's too many comments to create, to build. So we're changing that a little bit, the comments builder, where it will add it first. We'll add a comment with all the links on each file, and we're gonna test how long it takes to do that. We're actually in testing this at the moment. So instead of building one comment per link, it's going to build, which will do hundreds on each Google property. We're going to have one comment only with all the links in it, and then build one comment on all the properties. So we're changing the comments builder right now. But yes, it's something that I and it's also, I think, on the SOP, I believe. Is it not? Keyword. Additional keywords. Oh, it isn't. HTML files. Then we need to add this. But
No
yes, it's
worries.
something that I like to have on my Google Stacks.
Okay, so you do it pretty much every time.
Yes, I do. It's something that strongly, again, it strongly interlinks your properties. It's additional links that interlink everything on your Google Stacks.
Yeah, that sounds good. I tried it a
Okay,
few
we need
weeks
to update
ago,
it.
and I'm guessing I just did it wrong, or maybe there's a timeout for it, or I just didn't know where to look for it. So I wasn't really sure. If is there an easy way to go? Like, wouldn't you just normally look at like a Google Sheet or a Google Doc, and then you would see the comments, right? That's where I would look,
Mhm.
probably.
You mean you don't easily see the comments where when they get created?
Okay.
Is that what you trying to say?
Yeah, I would
You
want
can
to
see the
just make
comment?
sure, if I want to find them, do I just go into the
Okay.
stack and then look at like Google Docs, or wherever, and usually the comments are on the right side. I just want to make sure that I'm looking at it
Mhm.
correctly for checking it works kind of thing.
Sure. Want to see an example? Let's try and do
Yeah.
an example here. Um, so for example, this is just, so let's take probably one of a Google Doc. Now I'm going to take the Google Doc link, and this is the comments button. Well, this is in
Yeah.
Portuguese. Sorry,
Yeah, no worries.
but the button's going to be the same.
Yeah, yeah.
But so you can see right now there are no comments, right? There's
Yep.
nothing. It's empty. So let's add a comment with the comments builder to this guy.
Because we
So
use
this is
comments a
the
lot in Google Docs for our business, just to message each other and stuff on what we call scope of works. But um, just couldn't find it on the Google Doc or Google Sheet. So I wasn't sure if I just made a mistake or if I was looking in the wrong spot or something. So it's good to know it is in the Google Docs like that.
so so let's see if this works. Ah, yeah. Okay.
I wonder if I did it wrong. Did do you use the link for the actual document itself, or is it to the main like folder?
Let's try with the with this one. I don't think I've tried this before, actually. Let's see if we can if this does build comments to into the Google Doc. Because usually it's on Google Drive. So but the format might be this might the section might be able to process it actually. Let's see. Oh, it did. Brilliant.
Nice.
So see, it's building one comment per link. So it took the links from all these links here, which how many do we have? 38.
Yeah.
So it created 38 comments with all the links.
You
See? So, but when the stacks, as I was mentioning, when the stacks start to get larger and have a lot more properties, then this becomes, well, you can still, doing this one by one, I just did this for one file.
yeah.
So on the SOP, I thought I had this on the SOP. This is so weird. Let me take another look. There are no comments here. Because I thought I had this. Maybe in the version, the next version that we're working on, it's already on the SOP here. Yeah, no, here shouldn't be here. Yeah. So this is going to be on the next SOP version release. But doing this manually one by one, people don't usually like it, right? So because you have to come up here and then for each file that you want to build comments to, one by one, press the build comments. Or as I was saying, since we are going to update the comments builder feature very soon, we can just build one comment. So with all the links instead of one comment per link. And then that will interlink each document, all 38 properties, with one click, instead of you having to come here and then for each property one by one manually having to build the comments. So I think we're going to leave both options available for people. So if you want to build individual comments per link, you can. And if you want to build one comment with all the links for all the properties with a click, you also can do that.
Nice. So if I want to do, let's say, Google Docs, then I would just take the Google Sheet. Then I would put it in there, and there can be comments on Google Sheets also.
Yes. So my recommendation, what I do on my projects is I always build comments on my Google Sheet. So on the Google Sheet of the stack and the documents, those are my most important properties I want to build comments to. So if I come here, I click on the comments, they're going to be empty. Just take a moment. Yeah. So if I wanted to build comments here, I would just copy here the link to Staxio, paste the Google Drive link, it's this guy, and then build comments. And then we'll see in a bit that it will create all the same comments that were built on the Google Doc. They're going to be created on the Google Sheet as well.
Okay. So your kind of SOP for that is to do it on the Google Docs and then that Google Sheet that has the QR codes on it.
Yes, those are the main properties. Ideally, you would have them built on all the properties.
Okay.
That's the next level, I would say. But as a minimum, yes, the Google Docs and the Google Sheet.
Okay, that's just the minimum. Okay.
So now we're in the Google Sheet and we have all the documents created, like one comment per link. Hope that made sense.
Yep, that totally makes sense. All right, so that's the minimum of those two spots, but ideally all properties. Okay, that makes sense.
So we covered the Stacks builder, we covered the HTML builder, I think we covered everything on the planner.
Yeah.
We covered each of these features. Yeah. So yeah, it seems like you're familiar with all the features already. It's pretty good.
Trying to learn them, yeah, for sure. It's pretty awesome. I had a question on the build button. So towards the top of the planner, I understand that if you click it, it builds it. But what I was wondering is what's kind of like the use case for that? Because it's already built. Does that update it, or does it just make a second copy? Or I wasn't really sure on that part.
Well, if you click on it, it will do another build of the stack. But the use case for it is when you're doing the Google Stacks builder, when you're using the Google Stacks builder, you have the option to save to the planner. So when I save this to the planner, instead of building, it will just save the stack on the database. And we're going to see, right, that there's going to be an extra record here with the saved.
Yep. Yeah.
So now I can build it.
Yep, that makes sense. If it's already built, then would I ever use that button, or there's no need?
No, well, no, there's no need. Well, you can if you want. I don't know. I only use it when I'm saving Google Stacks. So let's say I have dog food. Let's say I wanted to build the three keywords that we were talking about earlier for dog training. So I can come and save to the planner another keyword. So instead of waiting for the build, I can quickly save multiple Google Stacks, right? So I did dog training. Let's wait. Should show up here. Maybe it's okay. Here we go. Dog training, and now dog leash. Now I have another keyword. It's going to save to the planner, right? So it's a quick way of saving your Google Stacks for building them out later. So now
Yeah,
I have 3 Google Stacks, which I can just come up here and click the build, and now wait. And then when it's done, I'm going to get on the next build, click the build, wait, and then the next one and the next one, right? So it's a different way of planning your builds.
I like that.
Yeah. So it's just a nice little feature that might help when you're planning and building everything. And when we have the tag that we were talking about earlier, that might be even more helpful, because then you can, have all your Google Stacks ready for
Yeah,
building, and then just come here and click the build, 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 build.
that makes sense. One other thing I was curious about, I found a blogger site from like 6 years ago. I only put one post on it. It was for something else. And I was thinking of using it just because of the age of it. Um, I don't know if that really makes a difference, but I heard that sometimes it does. Um, and I think my Staxio plan came with 2 Gmails. If it does, I was wondering how would I set that up with a different Gmail?
You send our support team the email that you would like to connect, the second email that you'd like to connect, and they will activate it for you
Okay.
and send you the activation details.
Okay. And then does that mean that is it like 2 different logins into Staxio?
Yes, there will be.
Cool.
You'll have to log into the. You'll always have to log into the Gmail account, because that's how Staxio works is from inside the Gmail
Yeah.
account. So yes, you'd have to log into that particular Gmail connected with Staxio.
Okay. That'll keep it clean too, which is nice.
But one thing with the bloggers is you can be an editor. Like if you want to, for example, work from you can give editor rights to, let's say you have 2 Gmail accounts, right? So let's say that your main Gmail account, you want to manage all the bloggers from your main Gmail account instead of having to switch between accounts.
Got it.
You can give the bloggers on your second account, you can give editor rights to your first main account, and then you can start managing your blogger sites from Staxio
Yeah.
from one single account.
Got it.
Makes
That
sense?
makes total sense. So depending on if I want to keep it separate or not, I could always just make them an editor, the
Yep,
same Gmail I'm already using on Staxio. Okay.
exactly. That's what I do on my projects, because I just don't want to. I'm lazy. I
Yeah,
don't,
no worries.
and
Okay.
it's easier, and then you can do everything from here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's all the questions I had. I don't know if there's anything else to cover, but I appreciate you answering. I know I had a lot of questions. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, we're always available, right? So you can also ask on the private mastermind, and people will help as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great having that group.